A lot of the things that people tell me concerning my recent trip to Russia and former Ukraine is after I explained my experiences and tell them and show them pictures and direct them to YouTube videos, vlogging videos I've done while I was there, they ask, so, when are you going to visit Ukraine now? We know what the question implies, right? My answer normally is, I won't, because I do not trust my safety to Ukraine. Simple as that. Because the same way you won't go to Russia because you are afraid of the Russian government and what they tell you about Russia, I have the same suspicions about the Ukrainian regime. For starters, it's not a democracy. Communist Party has been forbidden there. I am a communist. None of this goes on in Russia, by the way. I have met Ukrainians, pro-Ukrainian side in Donetsk. So, not much of an oppression there. And so I go on and say, as I live in the Western world and I've been flooded, my eyes came across loads of news outlets and talk shows, and the information space just flooded with information that demonizes Russia. And I having a big disagreement with this position, I still needed to confirm my opinion. This is why I went to Russia. This is the main reason. I needed to see if I was not being fooled somehow by the Russian propaganda, which also exists. So, but I needed to see. You have to, of course, everyone is going to make propaganda, but as I've stated in previous videos where I ramble about this stuff, you have to compare even the quality of both propagandas to evaluate. And so, and then another thing comes to my mind. Normally, the people that do this, they haven't moved an inch to do anything or to know, to get a little bit more informed about the opinions they hold. Unlike me, which I went to I consider great length because it was quite expensive for me. I'm just a salary worker, and to confirm and to see, and therefore confirmed some of the thoughts I have. I saw some things that surprised me as well, but overall I was very satisfied with what I saw. I don't think this would be the same experience on the other side. But I do advise these people that ask me this to go themselves to Ukraine and come and tell me about it, same as I did going to Russia. So it's very interesting. It's a pattern actually. It's actually a pattern. We know that when someone makes this question, it's because they already have an opinion which they are not willing to change, even if you give them information. Like, for example, when I bring them information that I saw with my own eyes, people that I talked, places where I've been, experiences with the authorities, etc. That's when the question normally arises. It doesn't come in the beginning of the conversation. It arises when they feel that their idea is being challenged, which is quite interesting behavior. And it's a pattern one, it's not an individual choice. I see this in several people that are not connected. The same reaction. Very interesting for people who think that they think with their own heads. Very interesting experience. And normally these are the same people that when they argue in favor that Ukraine is being a victim and all this, and they are heroes defending their homeland of the tyranny of the Russians, and so they deserve all the support because this is unfair. You wouldn't like your neighbor to invade your house. This is normally the example they give. Okay, so have you thought about Palestine? Have you thought about Gaza? What are your thoughts on that? They have to exterminate the terrorists. It's the answer. It's the typical answer. Or the 7 October attack. And it's never, it's just very narrow bits of information that are just enough. Just enough. I don't need any more. This is me characterizing their own view. It's just enough. I just need this. They're terrorists. Okay, go there. Killing a lot of people, children, women by the thousands. But the terrorists are there and they are hiding behind the children and women. And mm-hmm. Okay, so basically, you're a zombie. I'm sorry to say this. You're incapable of critical thinking. And the reason I point out there is a pattern in this, it's exactly that. It's like it's impossible that several people, which are apart, have exactly the same narrative. It's like mind control. They are being victims of propaganda. Simple as that. No one likes to admit this. To some extent, every one of us is always, at some point in time, at least, victim of propaganda. When I say victim, it's just like people fall for it, right? But in this case, it's a bit. I mean, it's even weird that you can defend. You're all for human rights and the good and the bad in one side, and a lot of accusations that are not co-substantiated, and then on the other hand, you have open air genocide, full blown open air genocide. I mean, neon lights, headlines, videos, selfies with the dead, and bragging about doing all this shit to Palestinians, invading Palestinians, terrorizing for decades. And somehow you cannot see that. Yeah. It's interesting to say the least. So, this is my opening thought. I say opening thought, it looks like it's going to be a long video. It's not. I just wanted to point out, comment on some news. Soon I'll have to go to work. I don't know if I'm going to make a video on en route to work, en route, on the way to work. But I had some time now before going, so I'm sitting on my own little studio, improvised studio, and I want to show this news which I found. It's funny. It's hilarious, actually. And I saw the news in a Portuguese outlet, so I'm gonna show it to you. Sorry for this. Okay, never mind the other camera. No one is sitting there now. So you see this, like this Reuters news. Germany to support Ukraine. I mean, this news has a couple of days. Germany to support Ukraine with 180,000 artillery shells via the Czech initiative. This is not the main piece of news I wanted to show you. This is, wait for it, wait for it. And so then we can then read Berlin. April 2, Germany will support Ukraine with 180,000 rounds of artillery shells as the contribution to a Czech-led plan to buy ammunition for Ukraine with a price of 576 million euros. The defense minister said the most pressing need for Ukraine, 2 years after Russia's full-scale invasion, has become artillery ammunition, which is running low as the sides use heavy cannon fire to hold large, static, entrench positions along the 1,000-kilometer front lines. Okay, nothing special with this piece of news, actually. We know a lot of, I mean, this is just 500, 600 millions. What is that in the context of dozens of billions that already been poured into Ukraine? And I don't know how many ammunition, but several hundreds of tanks and other armored cars. I mean, I think it's in the order of thousands now. I see fresh videos that actually prove of the continuous aid, despite the claims that this aid is dwindling. Going to Ukraine, for example, convoys of in train of German armored vehicles and German artillery systems. Yeah, so a lot of billions involved. And now for the news I wanted to show you, which is in Portuguese. I'm sorry, but I think the picture speaks for itself. And I'll translate for you, of course. So it's like, let me just center this. It says on the title, in Germany, the police protest without pants. And so the reason for the protest is that the government promised the delivery of uniforms, but in truth, the police has been waiting for months, 4 months, 6 months, or even longer. And tired of waiting, they took the opportunity in April's Fool Day, despite the situation being a real one, it says between the brackets, to protest this situation through a video where they appear without pants. Yeah, actually, they made the video, so it's two police that made the liberty. It's like a staged video. They have a small conversation. And then so that's the whole thing. And so Ukraine is being poured millions and billions, and the police, it's lacking uniforms. In Germany, we're not talking about a third world country. We're not talking about a very an economy with a very, which is facing huge problems. Germany's economy is facing problems, but they're still far from this kind of scarcity, right? So it's at least it's funny. I don't know. I mean, you can use other adjectives too in the comments to about this. Feel free to comment and use other adjectives to characterize this situation. Then you can read the police in Bayern, which is southern Germany. It's going through a very uncommon situation, scarcity of uniforms. And to call the attention to the problem, the union has published a video in the social networks where two officers appeared without any trousers. And then, of course, then there are reactions, and other entities have come to claim their outrage about this. I'm not going through that. It's just just this paragraph. Jürgen Kohlhein, I don't know if this is well pronounced, explained that the uniforms of police is composed by 21 pieces, and these are all unavailable for months. The government has been giving explanations about the situation and guarantees that it's been trying to solve the problem, blaming the suppliers. And beyond that, they use as excuse the pandemic, the war in Ukraine, as the main factors that contributed to this. Yeah, so you see, I mean, let's talking about priorities. And yeah, and that's all. I'm gonna make this video very short. I'm just wanted to ramble a little bit in the beginning about the narratives and the propaganda effects in people's minds, and now this little piece of news. I hope you enjoy it. I see you on the next one, and I hope I see you very soon. Please subscribe, all that stuff, and follow and share if you feel like. I mean, I'm not gonna. I know I could do much better job. The job that I do, I don't feel that is enough to press that much for sharing of the content. But if you feel like sharing it, of course, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much.